We very well may be entering the age where predictive programming shapes behavior. It can work in the silver markets as well, as artificial intelligence is making bold predictions for the first year for silver, and if we see these become accurate, well, they very well could shape the behavior of the markets down the road. We'll talk about that and so much more as we explore. Accurate predictions, shaping the future. We've heard about some of these things in the world of other areas, like artificial intelligence predicting when and how you will die. Those types of things. We're not quite there yet, but this headline very well could be the case in the near future. And essentially, it's predictive programming that will shape the behavior of the market in general. And that is a very either suppressive or expansive type of motivator for the markets. If they want silver prices to remain low, well, they have artificial intelligence to help shape this. I'm going to be referencing an article here about silver's price prediction for 2024 from a couple of different artificial intelligence applications here. Silver has declined from its December peak of $24.60, but it's currently displaying signs of recovery now. As 2024 begins, silver has bounced back from a yearly low of $22.90. It's prompting anticipation about its potential upwards trajectory. The metal's performance remains influenced by broader economic factors. In fact, we know that there's a lot of complexities in the silver market too. But artificial intelligence is pretty complex as well in this piece from finbold.com. And recent economic indicators, including job openings and labor turnover survey and the ISM Manufacturing Index, signal a contracting U.S. manufacturing sector and easing labor market conditions. Amid this backdrop, the demand for silver is under pressure, contributing to a bearish outlook in the short term. And I pretty much agree with that. That's kind of what I said in my prediction video for silver weeks before this article was published. So now we got to see what some of these artificial intelligence applications are predicting for the price of silver in 2024. Now, we know that the Federal Reserve policy is anticipated to shape silver's trajectory significantly, but market sentiment remains cautious due to silver's failure to capitalize fully on various catalysts that we saw in 2023, which includes geopolitical tensions. But I think that could change if things really heat up on multiple fronts, as I mentioned in a recent video. So if we look at future price trajectories, Finbold consulted generative artificial intelligence tools to obtain insights into how precious metal might fare in the end of 2024 for this metal here, silver. And I tell you what, it's kind of interesting. They cover a lot of bases here. They have both bullish and bearish scenarios for silver. So in a sense, right now it's a pretty safe bet. In other words, it's probably going to fall somewhere between these. So they're going to be right, but based off of the sentiment, both bearish and bullish. In other words, they don't know what kind of bullish or bearish scenario is going to play out in 2024. But sooner or later, they probably will, or at least more and more people will start to have faith in what artificial intelligence provides. ChatGPT is both bullish and bearish scenarios for silver, provided them. The bullish outlook hinges on factors like global economic recovery, inflation concerns, and a weakening U.S. dollar. ChatGPT suggested a potential trading range of $30 to $35 if these factors align. ChatGPT also suggested a $18 to $20 price range in the bearish scenario, noting influences from improved geopolitical conditions and Federal Reserve policies. Now, I tend to am somewhere in the middle with my price prediction for silver for 2024. In fact, my bullish outcome or prediction for silver is about $28 an ounce. My bearish is about $21, $22 an ounce. So my range is tighter than what ChatGPT has for silver. Now, and again, the bearish scenarios that ChatGPT has put out there. If global economic conditions stabilize without significant growth, industrial demand for silver may remain subdued, limiting price increases. And of course, Federal Reserve policy and an aggressive tightening of monetary policy by the Federal Reserve could strengthen the dollar and diminish the appeal of precious metals, including silver. Of course, we don't expect them to be any more aggressive in tightening this year. I think, if anything, they're going to lower rates. Most folks believe that that's what's going to happen. Rates will fall in 2024. Now, that's a ChatGPT. Now, Google Baird also is predicting the silver's price. And Google Baird also projected potential bullish and bearish trends for silver. A bullish trend is anticipated, driven by potential Federal Reserve rate cuts weakening the U.S. dollar and increased demand for silver and green technologies. Baird predicts silver prices could reach $27.80 to $34.70, much more exact in terms of the price range there, by the end of 2024. And their bullish scenario is potential for rate cuts. If the Federal Reserve eases its monetary tightening policy and starts cutting interest rates in 2024, it could weaken the U.S. dollar, making silver, which is a hedge against inflation. And so Baird recognizes silver as being a hedge against inflation and is more attractive and pushing its price up. If we do see increased industrial demand, and green technologies and solar panels and electric vehicles could boost its industrial usage and price. And geopolitical uncertainties also, with heightened geopolitical tensions or economic instability, could trigger safe haven buying, increasing demand for silver and potentially driving its price higher, especially with military applications, as we've talked about on this channel. So yeah, there's multiple different factors here to come into play that we should consider here in this scenario, and Baird articulates those. At the same time, Baird suggested a bearish scenario where silver prices could fall and trade between $19.69, again very specific, and $20 per ounce by the end of 2024. This projection is, by the way, which is a tighter range than what ChatGPT had, is based on continued concerns about the Federal Reserve rate hikes strengthening the U.S. dollar, potential global economic slowdown, and a resurgent U.S. dollar diminishing silver's appeal. In general, both AI tools suggested that the price of silver could eventually experience fluctuations, pointing to unforeseen factors influencing overall market sentiment. So, in that sense, really, both these technologies, Baird and ChatGPT, are accurate, or they will be accurate. It's going to fall somewhere in between those numbers, probably 9 times out of 90% chance that that's going to happen. And for the overall general, we may see some spikes or massive dips in that interim, but likely it's going to fall within that range. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. So we can say that it is accurate, but right now it's a safe, accurate bet. In other words, I could have done that. I could have said that, and I have been saying that for quite some time. But nonetheless, doesn't mean it's not true because they do it, because they're accurately predicting it. But they have such a wide range and cover their bases, because essentially, what is the catalyst for silver's price? It is going to be bearish or bullish sentiment. And they're not predicting that. They're predicting the price of silver under different scenarios. And understanding how the market works, that's exactly a safe bet to make. And it's going to fall within a range, not very much of a specific number. Now, when I did my silver price prediction, it's fairly specific. I said, hey, silver's going to hit $28 an ounce by the end of the year. And I give the reasons why that's going to be. But I certainly open myself up for being wrong, and I have been wrong on silver especially. Now, actually, with gold, I've been right all 3 years, but with silver, I have not been. It's a much more difficult market, I think, to predict than gold. But nonetheless, does not mean that gold is not difficult either. It's just that there's a lot of other factors that are much more volatile with silver than they are for gold. And I think that that's why you can accurately say that, yes, indeed, ChatGPT is doing its thing. And Baird is doing its thing to predict these prices. And When are they going to get to the point where they say, yes, with intelligence they have, with all the predictive programming that's out there, we're going to say it's going to be this, and that it's going to be bearish sentiment, or it's going to be this, the other price, and it's going to be a bullish sentiment. And then everybody's going to start behaving to that end and preparing for that eventuality. Predictive programming. And I think in some of this sense, these tools, artificial intelligence tools, are programmed. And that's a little bit scary when you think about it. Right now, all of us understand that ChatGPT especially has a bias. And that bias works against most of the ideology that most of us hold here when we are holding metals. Even though they may say some things based off of what they scourge on the web and the like, and whatever trains that module, just like any other computer program or software application, well, it's garbage in, garbage out. It's only going to go with whatever is put in. Modeling, essentially. It's all modeling, which means that you can say, well, this model predicts this or predicts that based off of machine learning on variables that are programmed into them with a set preference or bias, and that is what we're dealing with. That can be very dangerous down the road. So therefore, predictive programming and the price suppression of silver could get quite scary down the road. That's something to consider here. So think about that. The accurate prediction of artificial intelligence for the price of silver. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for watching, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.